An alarming chain of events has suddenly turned into a medical nightmare after Italian authorities forced him into a strict month-long quarantine over fears linked to a deadly hantavirus outbreak. The man, believed to be in his 60s and a resident of St. Helena, was tracked down at a bed and breakfast in Milan after health officials received an urgent alert from the UK Ministry of Health. According to Lombardy health officials, police located the tourist late Tuesday night in the Pastore area of Milan, where he had been staying with another British man in his 50s. Despite both men testing negative for hantavirus and showing no symptoms, the older British tourist has now been ordered to remain isolated in Italy until June 6th because authorities consider him a close contact linked to the outbreak. The alarming chain of events reportedly began after Dutch passenger Miriam Schilperod died following a cruise linked to the expedition ship MV Hondius. Investigators believe Schilperod and her husband Leon contracted the rare Andes strain of hantavirus while traveling through southern Argentina, where the virus is known to circulate among rodents. According to reports surrounding the Airlink flight from St. Helena to Johannesburg on April 25th, Schilperod had been seated in 13C, while another confirmed hantavirus case sat nearby in 14B. The British tourist, now trapped in Italy, was reportedly seated in 15F, close enough for officials to classify him as a potential exposure risk. The Dutch woman later died, and her husband also reportedly lost his life on board the ship, intensifying fears surrounding the outbreak. After leaving South Africa, the British tourist continued traveling across Europe completely unaware that international authorities were tracing his movements. Reports say the man spent 17 days touring famous destinations including Rome, Florence, Venice, and the Cinque Terre region near Genoa before his trip came to a sudden halt in Milan. Guido Bertolaso, Lombardy's senior health official, confirmed that UK authorities contacted Italian officials at 2:14 p.m. local time on Tuesday. According to Bertolaso, police officers and health workers tracked the men down just before 8 p.m. when they returned to their B&B. Both were immediately escorted to Milan's Sacco Hospital for testing and medical evaluation. Even though the test results came back negative by early Wednesday morning, the older British tourist was still ordered into mandatory quarantine. Officials explained that because hantavirus symptoms can take weeks to appear, the man would have to remain isolated under observation until June 6th as a precautionary measure. Authorities also revealed that the B&B where the men had been staying was not considered suitable for quarantine. As a result, the tourist is now expected to spend the isolation period either inside the hospital's infectious diseases ward or another secure medical facility in Milan. Meanwhile, the younger British man traveling with him has been allowed to leave, although health officials advised him to continue testing and monitor himself for symptoms. The incident has triggered wider fears across Britain and Europe, as more passengers connected to the outbreak are now being moved for isolation and monitoring. According to the UK HCSA, 10 British nationals from St. Helena and Ascension Island are currently being flown to the UK as a precaution. Officials say the group includes cruise passengers and medical workers who may have come into contact with them. None are reportedly showing symptoms, but UK authorities believe relocating them to Britain will allow faster access to NHS infectious disease specialists if anyone becomes ill. The UK HCSA described the move as a precautionary measure designed to protect communities in British overseas territories. At the same time, another group of passengers linked to the MV Hondius outbreak has been isolating at Aero Park Hospital in Merseyside after being brought back from Tenerife earlier this week. Reports say 20 British nationals, a German resident of the UK, and a Japanese passenger were transferred there after the cruise ship underwent a 3-day isolation and assessment period in Spain. UK health officials have now started allowing some of those passengers to continue their quarantine at home under strict monitoring conditions. According to the UK HCSA, health protection teams will remain in daily contact with everyone linked to the outbreak throughout the isolation period to ensure symptoms are identified quickly if they appear. Hantavirus itself is considered extremely rare but potentially deadly. The virus is typically spread through exposure to infected rodents or their droppings, although the Andes strain has previously raised concerns over limited person-to-person transmission. Symptoms can initially resemble the flu, but may rapidly progress into severe respiratory complications. The current outbreak has sparked anxiety because of the unusual travel trail connected to the cruise ship passengers, stretching from South America to South Africa, Europe, and the United Kingdom. Health experts continue stressing that the risk to the general public remains low, but authorities are clearly taking no chances after the deaths connected to the voyage. For the British tourist now stuck inside quarantine in Milan, the ordeal is far from over. Instead of returning home after a European holiday, he now faces weeks confined to a single room under constant medical observation, despite never testing positive for the virus. The dramatic case has already ignited debate online over whether international authorities are overreacting or simply trying to prevent another deadly outbreak before it spirals further. But with cruise ship deaths, emergency relocations, and multiple countries involved, officials appear determined to act aggressively until every possible risk connected to the hantavirus scare is fully contained.